Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA Finley.
Well, I feel so fortunate to have two stars, Michael L. Moorer and Walter Philbrick, the authors of 12 Rounds to Success, Boxing Strategies for Personal Achievement and Business. Michael Moorer is a 3-time heavyweight boxing champion of the world, and I want to welcome both of you to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, what made you want to write something like this, Michael? Did you have some sort of a dream one night that you wanted to help people the way you've been helped?
No, I got the idea from my dear friend Wally, who is like a big brother to me, and with Wally wanting to get together, I've heard of the books that he has written, and he came to me and decided to write a book. And so what we did was we incorporated boxing aspects into real life aspects, so like the blue collar worker against the boxer. You know what I mean?
I see that. Okay, well, what we're going to do is now ask, of course, you call him Wally, but that's okay. So, Walter,
Yes.
Walter, it's your turn. And apparently, how long have you known Michael?
I've known Michael about 8 years. He was still boxing when we met. I have a gun shop in Hollywood, and Michael's a real gun. He loves firearms and shooting, and he's a great shot also.
And so but what made you want to write a book with him? What gave you all these ideas for 12 Rounds to Success?
Well, if you ask Michael, he was 3 times heavyweight champion of the world. He beat Evander Holyfield, fought George Foreman, fought some of the best boxers in the world. And any heavyweight championship fight is 12 rounds. So we took that concept, 12 rounds to success, and we talked about what builds a champion, what makes someone successful. And the chapters are all called rounds. And they talk about motivation, discipline, perseverance, being a boxer, the ins and outs of getting beaten and getting up and still fighting.
So, Michael, I haven't been in that field, but when I went through your book, I thought and saw so many things in there that pertain to whether a publisher, I happen to be a gerontologist, but all sorts of people this applies to. Walter?
You're talking to me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm not. We finished with Walter. Now we're getting back to you, Michael.
Oh yeah, it does apply to everybody because it's everyday simple life, and it's just from a boxer's aspect of going through the vigorous training that we've been through to deal with a person who goes to work and does the grind, So it was relatively, it's a similar thing like that. And Walter and I just came together and we put life inside of boxing, or boxing inside of life, what it's really like.
Well, let me ask you this. How old were you when you decided you want to be a boxer?
Well, I started fighting when I was 10. I've had a very, very luxurious amateur background. I've represented the United States of America many times in dual competition matches with Russia, Cuba, Germany, Korea, and I've been all over, and I've won a national championship in amateurs, and I was a runner-up in 85. I won it in 86. I tried to go to the Olympics for the 88 games, but it was a bad decision call from other people, not from me. And then I just went and turned pro, became light heavyweight world champ, and I was probably the only one in history to probably knock out all my opponents as a light heavyweight and defended my title 9 times. And then I moved up to heavyweight and won the heavyweight title 3 times on 3 different occasions. And that's only been done, I think, by 3 other people maybe. Myself, Ali, Holyfield, and I think Lennox Lewis, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, let me just tell you, as a woman, if I were your wife, I would have been so nervous just before you went into the ring. And I gather you are married. I heard you have children. So did that occur? Did your wife say, "Oh, I don't want you to go because you're going to get hurt"?
Well, I'm not married anymore. But when I was married, my wife would, of course, she'd be nervous, just like my mom. They would be nervous wreck. But my mom grew up around it because my grandfather was my coach. He was my teacher when I first started.
So they just they saw that you were a champion. So I guess that took care of a lot of it. Well, let me ask you. I actually want to ask Walter. Walter, so when you met him, you decided that he was so good at so many things that you said, "Why don't we write a book together?" Right?
He was a very successful boxer. I mean, he fought the greats like George Foreman and Evander Holyfield. And I figured, why not write a book about using the boxing strategies like timing and perseverance and fighting for success and, and turning that into a boxing book. But really it's about business and personal achievement, but using the instincts that make you a good boxer.
Right, and make you some money.
Michael made a lot of money during his career.
Right, and I have certain things that I clipped down some of the pages there, Michael. Like you say, take action every day. You know, that's really important. A lot of people get discouraged, but every day is a new day, right? And you need to do something to carry out your plan.
Yesterday is the past. I don't live in the past. You know, you got to keep going forward, and when you keep going forward, that's what you grow to strive and get better at any and everything you do.
Yep, that's true. And I like your one where you say making a difference. And you say every person can make a difference. And I really believe that no matter who you are. In fact, I was listening to the Miami-Dade school board. They have a program once, I guess, a month. And there was an African-American woman who was very poor, but she figured out how to provide food for every single child and toys for Christmas, and she garnered up all the people she could find. And so it doesn't matter, if you're rich or you're poor or what your color is or where you come from. If you have it in your heart, you can make a difference.
Right. That's what it boils down to. If you have it in you. If you have it in you, then you can display it to many other people like Walter.
That's okay. We can call him Wally.
Michael is a very generous person. He's always...
I'm just telling the story, the real truth, and, I don't lie. The thing is that Wally was very generous to take me on and become one of his students, where he taught, and if I did wrong, he would explain I did wrong, but then show me the correct way to do it. That's being a teacher. He wasn't a person just being a boss by do this, do that, do this, do that. No, it's not do. It's, would you please or can you please help? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just like that.
Yeah, he's sitting here smiling. He's sitting here in the studio. Walter, talk a little bit about your career. You have had a very interesting career, especially now with terrorism and everything we're going through. I mean, this probably rings a lot of bells in your history.
I was a police officer full-time for 22 years, a homicide sergeant, a SWAT team leader for 13 years.
Where were you?
In Hialeah Police. I'm still a reserve lieutenant there. And I'm actually writing a new book on active shooters, what to do, like Paris, in case you get involved in a incident where there's a guy shooting at you, what you can do to protect yourself and save yourself and other people.
So we're going to find another book out of that brain, huh? Well, I think what's really important, though, is for people, everyone now has this fear. And even as a boxer, I'm sure there are boxers who had fear before they went into the ring. And I don't think fear is good. I always like positive energy, and I always believe if you have positive energy, it's going to attract positive energy. How do you think?
When Michael boxed, we talked about that. He was more afraid of losing than wanting to win. So his fear was to get beat rather than the accolades of getting the money and being world champion. So people do things for different reasons, and Michael's was fear of losing.
Fear of losing, huh? So now, Michael, I want to ask you, so what are you doing for excitement now besides promoting your book?
Excitement, well, with this wonderful man, Walter, on the phone, I became a private investigator. I became a bodyguard.
Yeah, I saw that in your book.
Yes, and I became a firearms instructor, and all through, Walter, by helping me out. Because, well, you have two types of people in the world, givers and takers.
That's true.
And Wally is a giver, just like I am. I'm a giver, and he gave, and I accepted, and we pay each other back by giving.
Michael's always available if I have an event or need a celebrity. He always shows up, doesn't charge the people, and he still has a big name in the community.
Pay it forward. Well, I have something. If you're going to be down here for our big expo, which is coming up, we salute the veterans, and we do this at Seminole Hard Rock. So maybe we'll have you come as a special guest to walk around, and we dedicate it to the veterans, so they'll all know you. It's it's January the 22nd on a Friday, so maybe you and Walter could come there, because we're going to have your books there anyway as part of our book fair. But it would be great. I'd love for you to come and do that.
Absolutely. If we're not, I'm sure Walter's not doing anything.
Yeah,
we'll do it. No problem.
Anything. So Walter, when you were writing this book and working with Michael on this together, did you have to interview him a lot to find out what he really felt about these things?
Well, we sat down and did the 12 chapters.
12 rounds. I love that.
Yeah, 12 rounds, 12 chapters. And, we talked about mental toughness and physical toughness. And Michael said to be a boxer, you got to have both. You got to be mentally tough and physically strong. And we got the chapters, and I kind of filled in the spaces. And then we met probably 3 or 4 times and discussed the book. And we put a lot of quotes in there also about, motivation and perseverance and surviving and, being a winner.
I have to say something. I'm glad that you brought that up. We have a lot of elder families here, and I think this will be inspirational to them, because no matter what age you are, this applies. You may be taking care of a loved one, a father, a mother, maybe a boomer doing that, or you may be a husband taking care of a wife who's very ill. And I think when you read this, it helps.
It's a great book because it lays out 12 chapters or 12 rounds on how to be a champion like Michael Moorer. He's a champion in the ring. He's a champion outside the ring. He's a great father, great husband, tremendous bodyguard. Problem is, people keep on taking pictures with him. It's a problem.
I'm sure that's true. I just saw where they were selling, there's a new boxing fight. And also, I heard there are only 10 rounds now, that they don't fight 12. Is that true?
12. No,
someone told me,
12. They don't fight 15 anymore.
Oh, maybe that's what it was, the 15 down to 12. All right.
Yes.
Got a little mixed up on that. But so I see where there's another big fight coming up. They were trying to get money for pay-per-view. So who is that? Is that one of the people you mentioned?
I'm not sure about that.
What?
Holyfield. He's getting kind of old to be fighting.
Well, I don't know the name.
Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey. They just fought last Saturday.
Okay,
and
but
Ronda Rousey, being the champion, she got knocked out in the second round.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, the other thing is we see, and I have to laugh because the only George Foreman, other than being a fighter, I know is the one that's on television selling his Foreman grills.
That's the George Foreman there is. There's 4 or 5 of them. George Foreman.
You can ask Michael, if Michael would have beaten George Foreman, you'd be grilling off the Michael Moorer grill rather than the George Foreman grill.
Well, but you could still have something else, that you could be.
And Foreman tells us that he made more from his grills than he did boxing.
Yeah, well, he's very good on television. You know, you watch that. And are you still friends with him, Michael?
Yes, absolutely. Very, very nice man. Well, all of the boxers are nice to one another. It's just that we know how to channel it. You know, we fight after, we're friends. We just had a whole thing of former heavyweight champions all together, 26 of them. And everybody got along. We had a great time. It was an exciting night.
I now see where women like to box as exercise. Are you seeing that? I mean, do you know any that do that?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Cardio boxing. That's what they call it because you keep going. Throwing punches. People are used to throwing punches every day, all the time. So when you're doing that at the gym, you're doing the punching, the running, shifting, just different things.
Me and Michael talked about making a video with him as a star where we do aerobic conditioning, self-defense, and boxing all combined together. So you're learning how to protect yourself and also at the same time getting in shape.
I think that's a great idea. So now that's your next thing, your video, right?
Well, hopefully we can get together. We'll do it.
So are you still in good...
Wally and I have talked about it for a while now.
So, Michael, are you still in good shape?
I think I'm in pretty good shape.
Am I allowed to ask you how much you weigh?
Absolutely. 230 pounds.
No kidding. And how tall are you?
6'2".
Whoa. So you never really played football or basketball. You went right to boxing, huh?
Yes, I played football my senior year of high school, just to say I did it, and that was it.
Yeah. Well,
my last fight was in 2008. I was weighing 275 pounds, and 10 weeks I got down to 219 pounds, shredded.
You're a kid. How did you do that?
I worked out.
Is it just
I did my cardio in the morning, my boxing at night, since I trained my body to fight at night, so I would work out at night. Then I would eat, I would eat clean and then drink 2 gallons of water a day, every day.
No kidding. My goodness.
And one cheat day was one meal. It wasn't the whole day. So a cheat day was, if you wanted some fried chicken or you wanted some potato chips, something like that.
Oh, well, I see a lot of books in you with Wally here leading the charge. I mean, I can see a diet book. I can see maybe you can give some information on love. Women are always looking for that. Maybe you'll.
I can't give. I can't give nothing on love.
Well, you're pretty attractive.
Well, thank you. I can only give it about me, Michael Moore. That's it.
That Michael Moore, huh? Are your parents still living?
My mother is, yes.
And so I saw you have children, and so do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I got an older brother. Then I got 3 sisters, and then I lost a little brother.
Well, so family's been very important to you. It's obvious, but I just want to tell everybody about this because this is a book you'll want to buy. It's a very special book. Even if you, like I was, didn't know anything about boxing and it wasn't something that I really had thought about before, once I picked the book up, it was magnified. It was just magnetic for me. I couldn't wait to talk to them about doing this book of the month because it had so many strategies in there that everyone could use, and it's so well written. The type is large. It's just absolutely wonderful. And the way you're going to do that is you can go on Amazon. Just go Amazon.com and put in 12 rounds to success, boxing strategies for personal achievement and business. And you'll see Michael Moore on the front cover. Then you'll see the introduction by George Foreman. And we didn't get you on there. We didn't get a picture of you here. No. Walter didn't want to be in. He didn't want his picture. I tried to get it when we were doing the book, but maybe the next one you do. You're going to get another one going, right?
Walter's low key all the time.
I'm not as pretty as Michael Moore.
Oh, you're pretty. We have these earphones on him. I just took a picture of him. I'm going to get it in Boomer Times, so it's all right. He'll be getting that. Tell us a little bit about. Let me give you a little bit of promotion here. Tell us a little bit about your store, Walter.
I own a gun store in Hollywood, Florida, called the 911 Store, and we do concealed weapon classes, self-defense, firearms training, leadership classes, security guard training, personal self-defense. We also sell at the police department. We have a gun store, gun range, kind of like all-inclusive in one place.
Well, we're getting so much nowadays about the police and about guns and what's going on with terrorists, and it's very hard for a lot of us people who really haven't been involved in that to just watch it and know what's true and what's not true.
It's getting to be a very violent world, and Michael and myself both carry firearms all the time because it's a matter of time before someone thinks you're a victim. And I always tell people to fight and don't give up, because if you do, they're going to kill you or injure you greatly. So I recommend carrying a firearm if you're that kind of person.
But what about terrorism? That's a very different story, isn't it? You can't see that somebody has a bomb in them.
I wrote a book called...
You know what?
What?
My thing is this. If you're a law-abiding citizen and you have a concealed carry permit, CWP, you should be able to carry in every state as part of protection of yourself and protection of the United States of America. Why not? Why would people allow other people to come over here from different countries to take them in, and we can't even get our own people? We got veterans that are homeless. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, I have a big thing about homeless veterans. My husband was a B-17 pilot who flew 35 missions. He just turned 92. And I talked to him a lot about this, and he said the world is no different today than it was then. It's just that we have the communication. Everybody knows who's doing what at every single second. But, he has a very long look at what happened many, many years ago. And we had all those bombers, kids who were 18, 19 years old, couldn't even drive cars. And they lost 25,000 of them in war, and the planes. So when I talked to him, he is, it's the long picture that too many people are getting too excited now and scared. And it's the fear that I fear that they have. So everyone should try to, I don't think people, they shouldn't add to all the stuff that's going on. I think that
You think about it. Look at America. All the incidents with the police. You have good police, you have bad police.
Right.
But, now you have things going on in the world.
True.
Play it just like Walter said. We're at war. We're at war with this world is at war with itself. You think about it. What'd you say, Walter?
I was going to tell her that I hate to say it because I don't want to predetermine the future, but you're going to see suicide bombers in America one day. You're going to see what happened in Paris, France, in America one day, because it only takes, 3 or 4 fanatics to fly here from Syria, from the other countries that support terrorism, and make a bomb or buy a gun or buy a machine gun and start killing Americans. So you will see that.
Well, we had that at 9/11.
Yeah, but you're going to see it on an individual level one day in America.
Well, we're just going to say a lot of prayers, and we're going to hope that somehow something magic comes along, and hopefully they'll get a lot of these people. But, after they get them, there'll be other people that come. It seems like we just never stop doing. I guess the worst thing for me is to see, as you were saying, the veterans, the homeless veterans, the maimed veterans, and I just hate to see any more of that happen. So you all have kept yourselves in very good condition, you and Walter, and it's very important, that you are leaders now in this, and I'm sure people depend on what you say. You have your store down there, and then Michael and a lot of people, I'm sure, listen to what he says because he is a champion. And that's what you have to do. You have to be a leader. I think that's very good in your book. You talk about leadership. I read that about...
I think being a teacher is a lot better than being a leader, because people would want to teach. A teacher is going to teach you how to become a leader. You know, a leader is not going to be taught, not going to teach a teacher. That's just my belief.
Well, I'm sure that's true. Yeah, you have to learn how to be a leader. I don't think it's a natural thing. I think you do.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
I think through going through a lot of pain and suffering in your life, if you handle it properly, you do become a leader. But I'll tell you what made me, and I think I mentioned this to you when I was speaking to you, Walter. I have a company, and after I read your book, I changed some things. I did. I tried to be more. I'm usually an open person, but I have some very strong opinions about this because I've been doing this for 25 years, and it's like my child. But I tried to be more open and tried to be a better leader. So I really did get a lot from the book that you both wrote.
Good.
So, Michael, what are you doing with your children? So you're being a leader with your children, I gather, to try to teach them leadership.
Yes, well, right now I'm laying in the bed. My daughter has earphones on, and she's laying on my stomach, and I can't move. She's telling me how to position myself, and then my son doesn't know I'm in town, so he gets out of school at 2, so I'm going to surprise him when he gets home, because I leave back out tomorrow. I just came in for a couple hours, and then I leave out tomorrow.
Well, that's lovely of you. I think everyone needs a nice father and a nice mother, and it does make a difference.
These are my babies.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Walter, you married?
I am married. I have a 14-year-old son named Ryan Philbrick, and for his leadership, I try to instill in him to be a leader, and he just joined ROTC. He's in the 9th grade. He got promoted to private, which is a big promotion in ROTC.
Good for Ryan.
Yeah, no, we have just run over time. Thank you so much. I just can't thank you, Mike. I look forward to meeting you, and I'm going to share this with Walter to see if I can get you to come over to the expo, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. To everybody, buy the book, 12 Rounds to Success, on Amazon.com.